Here's an important test-taking tip from the Fitzgerald-Anderson NCLEX review. I find that most students, when they have difficulty with exams, make 3 different types of errors. The first type of error, or what I call a type 1 mental error, is an error where they don't see things that are there, or they see things that aren't there. If you've ever done an exam review after a test, and you've heard yourself say, "Oh, it said none. Oh, it said some. It said never." If you've missed those words, you're making type 1 mental errors. Here's an example of a type 1 mental error. Take a look at this slide. If you think it says Paris in the spring, once in a lifetime, and bird in the hand, you've just made 3 type 1 mental errors. It says Paris in the spring. It says once in a lifetime. And it says bird in the hand. Did you miss it? It doesn't get any bigger than this. So that's what I call the type 1 mental error. We have ways to help improve that by giving you control over information. The type 2 mental error is when you misidentify words. So many times in a review, I've asked the question, what is atelectasis? And the response many times is collapse of the lung. That's not what atelectasis is. It's collapse of the alveoli. That's what I call a type 2 mental error. Another example is, what is an escharotomy? And I'll hear from students, it's the removal of eschar. And in fact, it's not. It is opening of the eschar to relieve pressure. So when people misidentify those words, they're making type 2 mental errors, and they're more likely to be incorrect in their responses. And then the third type of mental error that occurs is when they misidentify the concept being tested. They don't think like a test taker. They don't think like an item writer. They've missed the words that are truly important. So look for both positive and negative key indicator words. Which is most correct? Which is least correct? Which is most likely to occur? Which is least likely to occur? What has the highest priority? What has the lowest priority? What would you do first? What would you do last? What is an early sign of shock? What is a late sign of shock? These are the types of errors that most test takers continue to make because they're not even aware that they're making these types of errors. The Fitzgerald-Anderson NCLEX review helps you to focus on not making those types of errors, to control the information, to be able to overcome some of those issues that people have regarding type 1, type 2, and type 3 mental errors. Don't change your answers. So many times people use their first instinct response to answer a question and then change the answer because they doubt themselves, because they start to rewrite questions, because they start to yeah-but information. That's the point of doom for many people. By changing answers, oftentimes they make their exam results worse. I had a student one time that contacted us after she had taken the board 6 times. She had not been successful 6 times and said, "We want to do your review." I sent her an exam with 100 items, and she sent it back. It was a Scantron sheet that I reviewed. And one of the things I review when I'm correcting it is see how many times she changed from right to wrong, from wrong to right, and wrong to wrong. She had a -6 change differential, meaning that if she didn't have an eraser in the back of her pencil, she would have had 6 more items right out of 100. That to me was enough to pass the exam. Now, people are saying in a computerized exam, you can't change your answers. Well, when you highlight that response, what is that computer screen telling you? Are you sure you want to pick me? And you go, no, 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 no. You unhighlight it, you just changed your answer. So unless you know you've made a type 1, type 2, or type 3 mental error, then you do not want to change your answers. Go with your first instinct. It's another Fitzgerald-Anderson NCLEX review test-taking tip.